right, we're back with the final shaping of our country loaves. I'm going to sprinkle a small amount of flour on the loaf. Just smooth it out, nice and even. So to flip the loaf from the board upside down so I can shape it, I'm going to keep my left hand on the loaf. I'm going to use my bench knife to detach the loaf from the board. I'm going to go from right to left into my left hand. The loaf goes into my left hand. I lift it up and flip it over. All right. So I'm grabbing just about an earlobe's worth of dough at a time, and I'm pulling, and you should feel the tension move with you through the loaf, okay? So I'm pulling up, over to the middle. And as I stretch, I can feel the tension forming in the corners here, all right? Other side. I'm gonna grab again, just an earlobe's worth of dough. I'm gonna pull up, out, up, and over. So out, up, and over. And it seals when it touches the loaf, touches the mass again, okay? Notice how it's nice and symmetrical. Okay. Again, I'm just going to grab an earlobe's worth of dough. I'm going to pull out, up, and over. Out, up, and over. Out, up, and over. Still nice and symmetrical for the most part. And for the last move, I'm just going to take the bottom with my fingertips and just gently fold it over. I'll do that again with the other loaf. So this dough has been relaxing for about half an hour. Because it's a little drier, I'm going to shape it less, fewer stitches, and then less stretching. So I'll just do one, sides, like that, the top, and then I'll just do one, two, maybe like that, and then roll it. If the dough is drier, I'm pulling closer to the middle versus when the dough is wetter, I'll pull closer to the edge of the loaf. That just keeps things a little looser, and then I'll just gently fold it over like that. I'll let these relax for probably about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, we're back with our Durham sunflower and flax dough. It's ready for its final shaping. If you can look at the surface of the dough, you can see that it's not, it looks kind of smooth and matte on the surface. It's not wet. The loaves aren't running, they're holding their height and their shape. So those are all good signs that we can go ahead with the final shaping. All right, so I'm going to sprinkle a small amount of flour on top. Even it out. And to get the loaf upside down in order to shape it, what I'm going to do is first detach the loaf from the table. So just kind of use the knife to cut off the contact point where the loaf is touching the table. All right. So that's that. And then what I'm going to do is give it a little more flour. I'm going to keep my left hand on the loaf. With my right hand, I'm going to push into my left hand, hold it, turn it upside down, and put it back onto the table, all right? Okay, so you want to divide your loaf into different pieces. So you have this axis, the vertical axis, and the horizontal axis. What we're going to do is create tension along each axis. So we'll start by grabbing just about an earlobe's worth of dough from the bottom. We're going to pull back, up, and over just to the middle. And I'm just touching the loaf with just the pads of my fingertips. All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit, stretch it out, bring this side into the middle, bring the other side over, nice and symmetrical. I'm going to bring the top up, out, up, and over. So the tension's going to move like this. All right, out, up, and over. I'm going to stitch from the edge of the loaf into the middle. So we'll do three, one at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. All right, 1, 2, and 3. And that looks tight enough. We'll give it one more little stitch up top. So just gonna grab a very thin amount of dough, just the skin, bring it down, stitch once more, and then once again in the middle. See here you have 2 even lobes. That's what you want, and you have this kind of thinner part in the middle. All right, so now to bring it over, we're gonna grab another little earlobe's worth, pull, flip, and then just give it a little tuck. And we'll let that rest while we shape the other one. We'll let these rest here for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to shape the brown rice porridge and toasted sesame loaves. So a little bit of flour on top. Spread it out so it's nice and even. Going to detach the loaf from the table first. A little more flour. Going to flip it upside down. I'm pushing into my left hand and turning it over. Just want to grab from the very edge. This one's pretty sticky, so we'll call it a day. All right, lift up, over. And then we'll just give it a little tuck with your bench knife to add some more tension. All right, we'll do this second guy. We'll lift it up and over. Going to lift up, over, bring it down. We'll let these rest for about 5 minutes.